physical and chemical reaction.
So we start to talk about difference between physical and chemical change. Good. Okay. So who can remind me what difference between physical and chemical change, guys? Just three. What about others? Please, guys, wake up. Okay. Your participation is very important. Yes, Nano.
Change is change in the physical properties, while chemical changes changing chemical properties.
So physical change is just a change in what we could say change
In
in
shape.
shape,
Appearance.
size, appearance only, but the chemical structure is still as it is. While chemical reaction or chemical change, it is a change in
The
Chemical
substance.
structure.
chemical structure and
Substance.
the chemical properties. Okay. In another hand, we can say that chemical reaction leads to formation of new chemical substances or new substances. Yes, guys. Do you remember this?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So like this, we said that okay, if we know the difference between chemical reaction and physical or chemical reaction and physical change, and we said we are going concerned about chemical reaction in this section, and we said chemical reaction once it happens, it produces new substance. How could you ensure that a chemical reaction already is done? Okay, what do you think?
When it's chemically يعني when it's يعني when it changed chemically.
So, of course, that's by comparing the properties of the substances before and after the reaction. But we asking if you are gonna make a chemical reaction in lab, how could you know that the reaction is really done or not? Okay, yes, Reem.
By the signs.
Yeah, signs. I must observe some signs of chemical reaction. Good. What are signs of chemical reaction? What do you think, guys? What are the signs that could you observe in a chemical reaction?
Change in temperature.
So change in temperature. That's one.
Uh,
Okay. Wait. Just let's take another
changing
one.
color تقريبا.
Okay, that's enough. Yes, Ali.
Changing color.
Changing color. Good. Okay, Judy.
And
The state of gas and solid.
State of okay, changing state that mean formation of gas or formation of solid, formation of gas. Okay, and formation of solid. We said we call it precipitation. That's brilliant. What else? So like this, we said the change in color, change in temperature, or which means the change in energy, formation of gas, and formation of
Mr.
solid. They are the four signs of a chemical reaction. Once you observe one of these signs, so like that, you know that the chemical reaction is already done. Yes, Kendi.
Mr. Did anyone say the energy change?
Energy change, like they give an example, like energy change in temperature
Like the
or light.
temperature and the light or
Good,
sounds.
good, brilliant. Okay, so like this, okay, are signs of chemical reaction. Then we said that chemical reaction wants to happen. Who can tell me what are the steps of a chemical reaction? Any chemical reaction, we said last time it passes by three steps. Anyone can remind me what are the steps or what happens in a chemical reaction? Yes, Hannah Durgan.
You said that 2A
Okay,
are joining, then they separate,
so the first one, separation of atoms of each substance. Yes.
and then the B
Yeah.
goes with the A B يعني what goes with the A B, and then
Yeah.
they join it.
Yep. And then produce a new substance which is AP. Yes. So let's remember this part, guys, together here. We said that actually any chemical reaction passes by three steps. The first step, breaking bonds, breaking the attachment between the atoms of each substance and set the atoms free. That's the first step. Second step, atoms will rearrange themselves. They are gonna be arranged in another pattern. Okay, like the example which we saw last time, substance A will broken down, so we have free A atoms. Substance B will break the bonds, and also we are gonna have a P free atoms. Then A will stand, or they are gonna be rearranged. Each A gonna be signed 1B, so they make kind of rearrangement. Then a new bonds are gonna be formed here. Okay, so let's see. That's the idea. So the first step here, this illustrating diagram represent the idea or the steps of a chemical reaction. For example, here, that's water molecule. Okay, so we're gonna find what would happen if this water molecule is gonna break down, or the reaction of breaking down water or decomposition of water. So each water is H2O, as we know, one oxygen atom, which is the red cycle and or the red sphere, okay, and two oxygen atom, the blue one. So this oxygen is already, sorry, the oxygen, okay, the red one, and two hydrogen, which are the blue. So as we could observe here, the oxygen is already bonded, okay, by two bonds with hydrogen. So the first step of chemical reaction that we're gonna break the bond between oxygen and hydrogen. So we are gonna have here three atoms, okay, three oxygen and four free hydrogens. Then they are gonna rearrange themselves, okay. That means the hydrogen are gonna stand beside each other, while oxygen they are gonna be connected to each other, forming new bonds, as we can see here. So they result in new two substances, which is hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Is it clear, guys? Guys, is it clear?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Yes.
So like this, that represent the different steps of a chemical reaction, or how this chemical reaction is already happen. Any chemical reaction can work in the same technique. So let's take another example, or just let's make another example to clarify the idea. For example, we said that, okay, let's say, for example, here. So we said, for example, let's say that once H2, okay, that's gonna be react with Cl2, that's to produce HCl, okay. So here, what happens in that chemical reaction? So hydrogen react with chlorine to produce hydrogen chloride. So let's take here, how many hydrogen, guys? What do you think? How many hydrogen here?
Two.
Two, good, okay. So we have two hydrogens, they are bonded to each other like this, okay. And how many chlorine do we have?
Um,
How many chlorine do we have?
two.
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 Two also, okay. So let's make them in another color. So, and we have, that's mean we have another two chlorine, okay. So the purple is chlorine, while the red is hydrogen, just to know. So what the first step, guys? What the first step?
Bonds are
To
broken.
break the
Bonds are broken, so we're gonna break this bond, and also we're gonna break this bond. So we are gonna have two hydrogen atoms free, okay, and two chlorine atoms, they're free, they are not connected. Then what is gonna happen later, okay? What do you think?
They're gonna connect.
They are gonna connect,
The
okay. So each hydrogen will be connected with one, okay, chlorine. They form a new bond here, okay. So that will be HCl. Is it hard like this, guys? And of course the same for this one, okay. So the first step, breaking down of bonds. Second step, okay, rearrangement of atom. Third step, formation of new bonds, okay.
Okay.
Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
And of
Yes.
course, guys, the bonds which are formed in the products more stable than the bonds which is already found in reactants, or the result here, the new substance has stronger bonds compared to the bonds which is already found in the first substance. Because if the bond is not stronger, so actually the reaction will not work. You get the idea?
Mr. I have a question.
Yes, of course. It's Judy.
Um, it's Maya.
Yeah, it's
بس
Maya. Yes.
and the first one اللي هو ال H2 والchlorine تقريبا.
Yeah.
In the end we still have one molecule from the H2 and one molecule from the
Yeah.
chlorine.
No. I said the same for them. I'm just here. That's it will be like that guy. So that means I'm
يعني
gonna have. Yes, of course, too. As a light. So we're gonna have this. Okay. And another one also here like this. Okay. You got it?
oh yes.
Okay. So in her question regarding to this part, guys.
No.
Okay.
No.
So then let's pause here. Do you know, guys, you observe it, how we represent a chemical reaction, okay? We represent the chemical reaction by using something, or we call it the chemical equation. What we wrote, like H2 plus Cl2 yields HCl, which we just wrote down, we call this a chemical equation, okay? So here, chemical equation, let's see, let's write it down one more time. So here we said that H2 is going to react with Cl2, okay, that's yields, okay, 2HCl, okay. So that's example of a chemical reaction. So here, just this equation, or that we call this a chemical equation, which actually represents a chemical reaction. Who can tell me what this reaction, what reacts with what to produce what? Okay. Just here a minute to see the people they're raising their hands. Yes, Reem.
Hydrogen reacted with the chlorine.
Hydrogen react with chlorine. Okay, good. To produce
لا. Wait.
hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. You can
Oh.
say HCl. No problem. Okay. So like that, we know that what happens already. So the chemical equation represents a chemical reaction, or it describes chemical reaction. Simply, I could know that hydrogen reacts with chlorine to produce hydrogen chloride. Okay. So here, like that, that's very, very important to know what is chemical equation. If I ask you, what could you observe in a chemical equation? What you can find here? Okay, it's actually a group of symbols like this arrow for example. Okay, and that plus sign, which means we add this substance together, and formula. H2 is a formula of hydrogen or symbol of hydrogen. Chlorine is simple. Cl2 is a symbol of chlorine, and HCl is the formula of hydrochloric acid. So here, like this, the chemical equation is just a group of symbols and formula or chemical formula that represent, okay, the chemical equation, or that's how we are gonna use, or that describe a chemical reaction. Okay, guys.
Okay.
So here we said that, as we can see in chemical equation, element symbols represent elements like H2, that's an element, that's hydrogen. Cl2, that's a symbol that represents another element, which is chlorine. Okay, and the chemical formula represent compounds like HCl. Okay, is it clear, guys? That's a compound
Yes.
because it's a combination of two different elements, hydrogen and chlorine. So the formula is for compounds, while symbol is for elements. Okay. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So my question here, let's find out, okay. As you can observe in a chemical equation, there are some numbers that wrote down, small numbers, they are wrote down, okay, under the symbol, and there are some numbers they are wrote up, or big numbers they are wrote above or beside, okay, the formula. Yes? You observe this, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So what the difference between these two numbers? Actually, they are different. Here, this the number which is already wrote down. Okay, this one. Okay, we call this subscript. We call this subscript.
Subscriptive.
Okay, while this, okay, also this of course is subscript. So any small number that is wrote down, okay, we call it subscript. While this big number which is wrote beside the chemical formula or the symbol, we call it coefficient. Call it.
Coefficient.
Yes.
Coefficient.
Yes, like in math, okay? Okay, guys? So what difference between this number? Actually, the subscript, it represents the number of the elements which they are behind. That means they represent 2 of hydrogen, okay? And here 2 of chlorine. While the coefficient, it represents the number for, okay, the entire compound. That means this 2 belongs to hydrogen and also belongs to chlorine. That means I have 2 hydrogen atoms and 2 chlorine atoms. You get this, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. So let's take a kind of practice, or just to clarify the idea more. Okay, look with me here carefully. So we said that a subscript describes the number of atoms of an element in a compound. If the element symbol does not have a subscript, okay, so that means we just have one. So let's see here, okay. So once we see in a chemical equation that C, just C, what does it mean? How many carbon? It's just one, okay. While O2, it means we have 2 oxygen. Is it clear? Let's take some formula, okay? Sorry, let's take some formula here, okay, to illustrate the idea. Then we're gonna start our practice. We said, for example, here, guys, in carbon dioxide, CO2, that is the chemical formula of carbon dioxide. So in this formula, how many carbon do we have?
2.
No, just one, because here there is no subscript, okay? You got an idea?
Okay.
So that means
Yes.
carbon doesn't have any number under it. So like this, we said that we have 1 carbon, but oxygen have 2. So, or there is a number 2, subscript 2 for oxygen. So we have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen, okay? Yes, Reem, do you ask a question?
No.
Judy? Okay.
No.
Okay, so then here, like this, water, okay? So in water, H2O. So how many hydrogen do we have?
Two.
Two, because hydrogen already have a subscript 2, while oxygen have no subscript, it means 1, okay? Let's take
Okay.
a more or bigger, okay, one here like this, C6H12O6, okay? So who can tell me how many carbon do we have? 6, as it has a subscript 6, while how many hydrogen we have?
12.
12 and 6 oxygen. So here, guys, let's start to find this one. Okay, sorry. That's MgOH by 2. That's where we can find the OH is already inside the bracket, and there is subscript out of the bracket, okay? So let's find here. How magnesium do we have?
1.
1. And how many oxygen do we have?
2.
2. Why 2? Why we have 2?
Because
Yeah, because the 2 after the bracket, like in mass, this 2 as it found out of the bracket, it refers or it belongs to the 2 previous elements. Whatever inside the bracket, these 2 gonna be okay for all of them. You get idea?
Yes.
You get this? Okay. So like this, we have 2 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. So now I'm gonna write 1, okay, and tell me, or just let's practice here. So we said so, guys, that's 1, okay? Where are the subscripts and where are the coefficient? How many coefficient do we have here? If you know the answer, just what?
2. 3.
Yes, hey guys,
2.
if you know that's raise your hand, okay? So the coefficient, where are the coefficient? Yes, Judy?
The 3.
3. So this 3, the big 3, that is the coefficient, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, this
Yes.
coefficient belongs to aluminum or oxygen or both?
Both.
Both. So this A3 belongs to both. Good. How many subscript we have here, or the subscript of aluminum equal? How much subscript of aluminum? Yes, Reem? 2. So that's the subscript of aluminum. Okay. And what is the subscript of oxygen? Yes, Hannah Durgan?
3.
3. Good. So like this, we know, okay, what this number belongs to. Now let's find how many aluminum atom in that formula. So how many aluminum? We're gonna multiply these two numbers. So 3 multiply 2, they are
6.
6.
6.
Good. We have 6 aluminum. And how many oxygen do we have?
9.
9. Good. Brilliant, guys.
طيب
Okay.
بس why you don't write على طول يعني aluminum 6 واكسجين 9 على طول.
No. Good. Your friend asking a brilliant question. He asking why we didn't say AL609 like this. Yes or no? You got an idea? That's your question, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, good question, actually, Yusuf. Actually, Yusuf, here, once we say 3Al2O3, that means the compound already is just made of 2 aluminum and 3 oxygen. That means in nature or in lab, the reaction between aluminum and the oxygen allow 2 aluminum atoms to bond with 3 oxygen atoms. You get idea? Do you understand this?
Yes.
No.
No, look with me. I'm gonna draw it more better than this. Look with me. That means actually in lab, once we make a chemical reaction between aluminum and oxygen, each 2 aluminum atoms, which we're gonna draw them in pink color, for example, that's aluminum, and that's another aluminum. These 2 atoms, they are able to bond with 3, okay, oxygen atoms. So they are able to bond. Let's make oxygen in a different color, for example, like that. Okay. That's one O here between these, and each one already holding another O. You get the idea?
Yes.
So that's how the compound is. That is the building. I can't get any more like this. So that's the unit. So this 3, that means we have 3 of these. That means they are gonna have repeated like this. Okay. You get the idea? That the second, and then the third, and like this. Like when I say, okay. For example, if I ask you how many pencils in your pencil case, you're gonna say I have 3 pencils. Okay, so could you stick the 3 pencils together and say I just have it? I have one long pencil of 3 pencils. You get this idea, Yusuf?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like this, or in another way, I'm gonna just say to you: imagine that you are gonna make a cup of tea. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You are gonna add 2 spoons of sugar in that cup of tea. Okay.
Yes.
So like this 2 spoon per cup. If I ask you, are gonna make about 3 cups of tea. So how many spoon of sugar do you have?
6 ولا 9
So
مش عارف.
yeah, 6.
6.
6. Okay. So could you put all the 6 spoons in the 1 cup and say that just 6?
No, we will
No.
divide 6
You're
to 3
supposed to,
cups.
the idea. So here like this, okay, that's here represent that like I have 3 of aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide as a compound, it's formed as a combination between 2 aluminum atoms and the 3 oxygen atoms. So I cannot change the subscripts ever. The subscripts, they are constant for each formula. What I could change is the coefficient. Coefficient represents the amount which of you have of these. Okay, good idea. Is it clear?
Yes, you missed.
Yes.
Is it clear, guys? Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
والله.
Okay, so listen. Okay, so let's pause. Take another example to find that you get the idea. For example, Na2CO3. So who can tell me here how many sodium do we have? Yes, Hana Hamdi.
2.
2. So we have 2 sodium atoms. How many carbon do we have?
3.
How many carbon do we have?
3.
No.
1.
1.
1.
Because here there is no subscript after the carbon. Yes?
I carbon different
Yeah.
than okay.
So how many oxygen do we have?
3.
3.
3.
So over all these, okay, formula just have a kind of 5 or 6 atoms. They are bonded to each other. So let's take another example. Okay. For example, let's see. So Al2SO4/3. So who could tell me how many aluminum do we have, guys?
2.
2. 2 aluminum. Good. How many sulfur do we have? S. How many S?
1.
1.
No.
3.
3, because there is a bracket and there is 3 outside. Subscript is common for both of them. Okay. Don't forget. So they are 3. How many oxygen do we have?
3.
No.
The
4.
divided multiply
4
by
multiply 3 equal
12.
Okay, brilliant. So what happens if I added a coefficient 2 here? So what happens?
Multiply by 2. Multiply
Yes,
by 2.
multiply all them by 2. So that will be 4, that will be 6, and that will be 24. You get idea, guys?
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So like this here, we know the idea now of the chemical formula and the difference between subscript and the coefficient. Okay. So here, sorry. Can you see the presentation, guys? Guys, can you see the
Yes.
presentation? Okay. So here like this, we said that chemical equation includes both the substance that react and the substance that formed in a chemical reaction. That's of course what we find. So in any chemical equation, we have 2 sides, a side before the arrow and side after the arrow. Yes or no? Like when we say H2 reacts with Cl2, produce or yields the arrow, and then produce 2HCl. Do you remember this, guys?
Yes.
So here we'll find that like this in a chemical reaction. So here, what before the arrow, we call them reactants. Okay. So what are reactants? They are the substance which is already written, okay, to the right side of the arrow, or the written before the arrow, which represent the substance which we are gonna start the reaction with. Okay. while the other side, which is after the error, that represent the products, which are the new substance that are be formed or they are result of the chemical reaction. Any hard question here, guys?
No.
No. So here like this, that's reactants, okay? The side before the error, reactants, the substance which we start the reaction with, while products, they are what we end the reaction with. Any hard question here, guys?
No.
Mr.
No.
هو we write chemical equations?
We're gonna write chemical equation, and to know how to balance the chemical equation, everything, don't worry, step by step, okay? So any hard question regarding this part, guys?
No, thank you.
Okay, so here like this, let's take an example to represent. So who can tell me what are the reactants of that reaction?
Carbon and oxygen.
So carbon and oxygen. So the are the reactants, the substance which is already start the chemical start the reaction, which is already found before the error. So carbon reacts with oxygen. The are the reactants. And what are the products?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So actually, the error, once we read the equation, we say carbon reacts. This plus means, okay, we say the plus sign means react. So we can say carbon reacts with oxygen, yields or produces. Okay. So these are full yields. Okay. Or produces carbon dioxide. The question here, guys, who can tell me how many oxygen are found in the reactants? How many
Two.
oxygen is two? And how many oxygen is found in the products?
Two.
Two. So good. Okay, like
طب
this.
مستر
Yep.
يعني مستر the product يعني there is one oxygen atom on the left and then carbon dioxide one carbon in the middle and then another oxygen atom.
Yeah.
What if Mr. this carbon atom went to the left and this oxygen
Cannot. That the purpose of the chemical reaction, as we said in the beginning, we said in the first step that bonds are gonna break down, atoms set free, then they rearrange. This arrangement is a fixed arrangement. You get idea? That means atoms, once they form, each chemical compound has a certain pattern in space, it has a certain arrangement. It's not just like a kind of puzzle that we're gonna do it. You get idea?
yes.
So that means, or if you need to clarify it more for you, but actually that's some higher level than, okay, your level. So we said that the carbon atom that's gonna react with oxygen atom, actually they are two oxygen bonded by two bonds to each other. So the first step we're gonna pick this. So we're gonna have two free oxygen and one carbon. So they are gonna arrange in that way. The carbon could form a group, so it will hold two oxygen like that. You got idea, Yusuf? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but actually I cannot make it like this because oxygen just could form two bonds. It's already forming two bonds. It can't make another two bonds, so it cannot happen. You get idea? It must be forming in that side. So this is just advanced. It's not okay belong to your level, but just we said it to understand. Okay, guys. Any hard question regarding to what we explained today, guys?
No, thank you.
Everything's clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Okay. See you next time.